I'm recreating every fruit from one piece into a dessert, and today we're making the Ushi Ushi devil fruit. So this devil fruit, similar to the flame fruit I also made, was one of the more time consuming fruits I've made so far. I do try and make these recipes as beginner friendly as possible so that anyone could give it a shot. But yeah, this one did come with some trials and tribulations that we will get into. So for the flavour of this fruit, I think it made sense to go with banana. So I started off by making a banana caramel, which will go in the center of our fruit. Then I used half of that caramel with some white chocolate and some double cream, blended that all together to get a banana caramel white chocolate mousse. Yeah, I was cooking at this point, and as always, if you want the recipes to these, it's all in my bio, just go check it out. So now using the cream and the caramel, I layered it all into the banana skins. I also added some crushed biscuits for some texture. I was going for like a cheesecake vibe. And now you might think using the banana skins as a mold was a Einstein level idea, and in some ways it was, but it did come with some problems later down the line that we will get into in a second. So after freezing them for a couple hours, I removed the banana skins, and that's where the first problem came. Some strands from inside the banana skin stayed stuck onto the cream, which was really annoying, but I was able to minimize that by running the bananas under some hot water for a couple seconds, and then I also used a knife to scrape off any stringy parts that stayed stuck. So yeah, maybe using the banana skins as a mold was not the best idea, but it did work at the end, just took a little bit more time and effort. So to stick the bananas together, I used a vegetable peeler to scrape away at the cream, and then that meant when I stuck them all together, it had more of like a tapered look. And then yeah, I went straight onto piping on the swirls, and I actually had to redo all these swirls because I just didn't like the way the cream turned out. I think I didn't let it cool down enough before whipping it up, so it came out a bit grainy. So yeah, literally off camera I had to scrape it all off and redo it, which yeah was a bit annoying, but it came out looking better at the end. For the final part of the recipe, I went with my trusty cocoa butter and white chocolate glaze. It hasn't failed me yet, but this time there was a few problems. This was by far the biggest devil fruit I've made so far, so it didn't actually fit in the mixing bowl. So instead of dipping it, I had to pour the chocolate on top of the fruit, but unfortunately after the first pour, the layer of chocolate was just not thick enough, so I had to pour it a second time to get the right thickness, and at the end it came out looking decent. Again, this was just more time and effort than I initially anticipated this recipe taking, but this was the final result. Let me know what you think and what devil fruit you want to see next.